Welcome, everybody. Master Macy, hello.
Hello, Master Mom. Master
Long
Olson.
time no see.
From one meeting to the next.
Woo! I was afraid I wasn't going to make that.
You never know.
No, you don't.
Are you able to? Actually, it looks like I should be able to record. I think I'm.
I am recording. Okay. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. All right. It looks like we're almost getting enough people signed in here. I see a lot of my staff jumping in here.
Good to see everybody.
And Sydney and Skylar. Where are you guys at?
They're in Tennessee.
Oh, you're in Master Olson's school. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, guys. They've been training just about every day.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them. They're working for their black belts.
Oh, really? Okay, then since we still have a minute, will you show off your sidekick for me, Miss Sydney and Skylar? I want to see your best sidekick.
Okay. We can't really do it there.
Just don't pull anything. I know you're not stretched. Oh, whoa.
Good job, Skylar.
Good job. Whoa, nice.
All right, Sydney.
Got some kickers over there. Looks like you guys are practicing pretty hard, right?
They are. Their dad holds this giant teddy bear for them to punch and kick on the Zooms.
Currently behind the camera.
Well, I'll start off by introducing myself just because we have some students from Tennessee. This is really cool because we have students from almost different parts of the country. It'd be really cool if we can share some questions that you guys might have and just talk about what's going on. And hopefully at the end of this, when you guys are done, we have a really positive message that we want to share today. And we want to make sure that everybody keeps that strong mind. Remember, black belt's all about having a strong mind and staying focused and being on with positive, but it also means we're leaders. And we want to make sure that we can help other people. We've been talking about in our school, teamwork was the word of the month. So we've been really talking about how can we be better team members as part of our family. And so my name is Master Macy. I am the owner of the 3 martial arts schools in Colorado called Ripple Effect Martial Arts. And I've been training since I was about 8 years old. So I started off my Taekwondo journey. So we teach a style very similar. And I'll talk a little bit about ours, and then I'll let Master Mom, Master Olson, talk a little bit about her school and where her background's from. But I started off in Grandmaster Stephen Oliver's program, which came from Jun Rei system. And we study Taekwondo. And as you guys know, Taekwondo is a Korean art. And we have other pieces that we train, but I'm part of this group that we get together, all the masters from around the nation, we get together on a weekly basis, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, and we talk about how to make our schools better. We talk about how to train you better. We talk about how to grow our schools and have a bigger impact in the community. And Master Olson is somebody who I've just respected and learned a lot from. So we are colleagues, but at the same time, we learn from each other and we get a chance to share ideas. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to kind of learn from each other. And even though your style might be just slightly different and what you guys teach, we all have the same common bond, and that's leadership and black belt. And so we're going to be talking about what that means to have black belt mentality and black belt focus. So I'll let Master Olson tell us a little bit about your school and yourself, ma'am.
Well, thanks, Master Macy. And I just want to say, too, being part of the group with the master instructors around the country that get together and talk, he's right. We have a passion for bringing our students the very best we possibly can, not just in martial arts, but in leadership training and services. And so it's been a real pleasure to get to know him and some of the other folks up there in Colorado, and just kind of have a natural connection already, because we have the same goals in mind, and that is teaching great martial arts and leadership to our students. So I started training in Taekwondo when I was 10 years old, and I've really never quit. I was teaching class the night before my son was born, so it was just kind of, he was born into it, and my daughter as well. They work for the company now, Olson's Martial Arts, full time themselves. But our styles are very similar. But the thing that is the most similar is just kind of our heart and passion for you guys, the students and the people who teach alongside of us.
Okay, so okay, well, let's continue on here. We want to make sure we get a chance to answer questions and talk a little bit with you guys as families. We said we wanted this really to be focused about black belt mentality and learning to stay positive. So the first question I have to everybody, and I want you guys to be able to share, and you can unmute yourself, unmute your mic, and kind of share. But the first question I had, and Master Olson and myself can address is, there's some things that we say to ourselves on a regular basis. And sometimes when we're stressed, or sometimes when things get tough, we have what we call negative self-talk. And we might say things that don't maybe even seem like they're that negative, but they're not going to be productive for us. And so we want to just kind of refocus our minds right now. We talk about focusing your mind, and that has a lot to do with just staying positive. So what are some of the things that you might hear yourself saying, or you might hear other people say that might be kind of frustrating? Like, maybe I'll give you an example. Who in here has said to their parents or to themselves, I'm so bored right now, having to stay home all the time. I'm just so bored. Is there anybody saying that? Raise your hand and wave at me if you've said that before. Oh, okay, I see one there, Carmen. Thank you, Ms. Hardy. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Does anybody have anything else that they say that, or they've heard other people say that might be somewhat negative?
You can unmute yourself and give us an example. So if you have something to say, you can just go ahead and unmute it and say it.
There's nothing to do. So I heard someone say, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do, yeah.
Nothing to do.
That could be something that, it's easy to say, because we might get in that mentality of there's nothing to do. So we're going to just kind of talk a little bit about what these are, but then we're going to change our focus. We're going to learn some ways where we can change how we talk to ourselves and what we can do to kind of refocus that. So that was a great example. Thank you for sharing. What's another one? Anybody else have any other ones?
Go ahead and speak up.
How about Mr. Hunter there? I'm going to unmute you, Hunter. Have you said anything negative during this time?
No, I haven't.
No? Wow, okay.
That's great. All right, Sydney, Skylar.
I've heard other people say things. With our neighbors outside, he said he was complaining that we wouldn't go back inside with him.
That you wouldn't what?
Go back inside with him.
Oh, because you couldn't go into the house. I understand. Yeah. Kind of being lonely.
How did that,
that's hard.
Make you feel?
Bothers you a little bit?
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So what about adults? I know that adults, we're just as guilty of this, and some of our staffs on here, we can share too with the kids and tell maybe some things that we might be saying that are kind of negative, or we might be feeling scared, or we might be feeling uncertain, or anything like that. Anybody else want to share?
Master Macy, if I can pipe in.
Yes, sir.
My wife and I are moving coming on up on Sunday, and so we're pretty scared about that. We're stressed about that. We're trying really hard not to let that get us down, because everything's shut down. There's all kinds of craziness going on. Like how do we pick this time to move? And so that's kind of like a negative thought that's been something that we've been working on, because we don't want it to be a negative experience. We don't want it to be a stressful thing, but that's something that's kind of in the back of our heads.
Yeah, that's a very real concern. Yeah.
So is that Andrew? Is that who's speaking?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good. I can completely relate to what you're feeling, because the thing that keeps running through my head is, when this is over, what will how we handled it say about who we are, and I found that to be a real motivator, to try to always do my very best and be a leader. And for you, leading your family, you are doing something that's difficult anyway, and you're doing it in one of the most difficult times we've ever faced. So you have a real opportunity to say, okay, how is the very best I can handle this? And no doubt fear is going to be, pop its little head up, and, but our job is to be fearless and to face it head on and talk to your family about it, and work together. And, I had a little panic moment this morning because we had the mandate that you couldn't go into your martial arts school. And, just being honest and open with my family and talking about it helped me calm down and work through it together and come up with solutions. But I keep thinking how we handle life in this particular time right now is going to say a whole lot about us in the future. And it's going to give us such a confidence. So
Very good. And
I would absolutely agree. That's what's been keeping us going.
yes.
so let's talk a little bit more about our families. We were just talking about how we can keep our minds strong and how we can stay positive. How can we help other family members? Maybe it's your brother, or maybe it's your sister, or maybe it's your mom or dad even. Okay, everybody can probably be feeling this at different levels, and that's okay. But as black belt leaders, we want to be able to help them. So what are some things you can do to help your brothers or sisters, or even your parents?
Master Macy.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Carmen, Sierra, and Caleb Hardy, and we have found that our fuses are short, and we are pushing each other's buttons.
Literally.
Sometimes literally, yes.
Yeah, so that's something that now, especially when we're all kind of confined to being in a close quarters, or we're not able to do some of the things that we're used to kind of release some of that energy that could be there. But it's also very important that we can. So I'll let Master Olson, Master Mom, talk about how, as a parent, can we help our families kind of not push each other's buttons and to change that fuse.
Well, I think first of all, you should realize you're not alone, and your family's not unique in that situation. That everybody's having those moments. Even the adult people in the family are pushing each other's buttons, probably. But one of the techniques that I used for my kids when they were getting that way at home, when they were younger, was to force separation. And to say, okay, this is your space for the next half hour, and this is your space for the next half hour. And 9 times out of 10, they didn't like being separated, and they would learn how to find their way back to each other and get along. And with that threat, or looming, you're going to be separated, and then you have nobody to play with, it usually corrects itself most of the time. So that's just kind of a tip that I like to pass on when that happens, because it's the same. Unfortunately, we had a small car when I was growing up, and me and my little brother were definitely pushing each other's buttons in the back seat, and you can't make that separation. We'd have that invisible line you're not supposed to cross. But if you're at home, you can actually put them in different rooms, and or eat different ends of the table, and that'll usually kind of help them want to come back and play more cooperatively together.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the other part of that is just awareness. Being aware that some of the things that you might be doing might be agitating other people. And so that's one of the things that, as again, leaders, we say servant leadership, but we want to help each other. So when you think about, you have to be a little bit more aware. You have to really think about all the things that you do and how the other person, or how your mom might be reacting to that or how that might make them feel. Okay, so what you want to do is change that. What are some things that you can do right now? I want to hear some kids. What are some things that you could do for your parents that would help them feel more positive, and also to just help out around the house, make it less stressful, make it so that everybody wants to get along? What are some things that you can do?
I see a young lady with her hand raised there. Judy?
Yeah, I think.
Doing my homework.
Work,
Yeah.
the online schooling.
Good, and especially showing that self-discipline so that mom doesn't have to ask you to do it. If you showed that self-discipline and you just did it, do you think that would make your mom very happy? Yeah, okay, very good. I see another hand raised.
Yeah.
Parsons? Is that?
You can be nice to your parents and not aggravate them to make them not be mad.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just by being nice to them, is there something that you could actually do for your parents that might actually kind
Do,
of lighten their loads?
Like you could clean up the house.
Oh, very good. So like just a random clean the house without them even asking you to?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That would be awesome. That shows black belt leadership right there. Nice job.
Thank you. I see a few more hands raised. Go ahead.
You can do your work the right way, not like just do messy stuff. So they don't have to keep like going over it and over it again.
Very good. Do it right the first time. Mhm.
Like it. Good. Nice job. Anybody else?
Take out the dog.
Okay, taking care of the pets. Yeah, that would certainly help out around the house. Okay, how about Sydney and Skylar? You guys have your hands raised.
We can do the laundry.
Oh, wow, doing the laundry for your mom. That would be
Or empty the dishwasher, which currently has to be done.
Okay, so you're committing to all of us right now online that you're going to do the dishes right after we're done with the call?
Nice.
Nice job. Good. Anybody else?
Mark?
Just saying, listen out for anything your parents might say.
Repeated.
Yeah.
So they don't have to repeat it? Is that what you said? Yeah, that's very helpful. Yes.
See, right now, if you view your family as a team, because we talk about teamwork right now, but if you really view your family as a team, it's just like if you've played football or soccer. If one person doesn't do their job, it makes everybody else's job a little bit harder, right? And it can kind of add to that stress, or it can make you not as productive. And so as a team, you can talk to each other about this and say, hey, Mom, how can I be a better team member? So I want you to all promise me, kids, I want you to ask your parents when you get done with this call today, I want you to ask them and say, what's one thing today I can do as a team member of our family that would help the team? And then I want your parents to be able to, give you a couple of things that you can do. And then, of course, do it right the first time and get it done. But take that leadership, because we talk about leadership all the time within our schools, is you can be the leader. You can ask your mom. You can ask your dad. You can ask your brothers and sisters even, what are some things that I can do to help you, sister, in being a team? Okay? So can I get everybody to promise me that after the call, you're going to ask that of your parents?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. That's great.
Yeah, if I could add to that, Master Macy, I view the family as the ultimate team. It's like the super team. It's like your, the League of Heroes. Everybody on your family has the opportunity to make the team work in a very efficient, happy way. And if you're pushing each other's buttons, if you're doing things like that, you're not helping the team. So one of the things that I want to make sure that the parents know is you're the boss of the team, all right? You're the coach, you're the leader, you're the CEO. And so parents, you want to make sure that you lead the team, and you say, okay, this is, your role and this is your role and here's how you can help. And those are some really important steps to take as the team leader. And I was talking today that when you do that, and especially during this time where you have some extra time together and people are having to do different things, even your 3-year-old, 4-year-olds, even the young guys, you're going to start to see some talents that they have that you never recognized before, and some skill sets that they have, just because we're spending so much more time together and having to work things out. So you can kind of look for how can you be a helper on this team, like Master Macy was saying, what can you do to help your family member? What can you do to help your sister? What can you do to help your parents? And include the kids on that, how they can be a better part of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like in football, they have a team huddle. And the team huddle is led by the quarterback or the coach and saying, this is the game plan. Okay, these are the challenges that we're faced with today. And if you think about it like that, because every family is a little different. You might be faced with challenges with work. Your parents might be faced with other different challenges. But if you come together as a team and say, well, these are the things you can help me with. And then the other part of that is when your team does something, like say you do something awesome. If you were on a football team and you guys scored a point, what would the team do? They would celebrate. They would talk about it at the end of the day, and they would say, man, that was awesome, way to go. And so helping each other, being positive by saying and complimenting them and saying, wow, sister, thank you so much for picking up my shoes and putting them in my room. I know you didn't have to do that, but that helped the team. It made me be able to do something else. And so by being positive and thanking each other, that's going to be a big part of that teamwork. So
yeah, we play. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
We play a game. It's an over-the-top courtesy game, and this is a fun game to do with your families too. Is you see who can out-polite the other one. How many extra pleases and thank yous and polite gestures and eye contact and smiles can you do? Can you do more than the other person in the family? And it's just kind of a fun activity to remind us what are other things that we can say besides just yeah and uh-huh. And just kind of a fun game that everybody can play together. But on that celebration point, I think that especially during this time, Master Macy and I were talking earlier, a lot of the big celebrations that our families have been looking forward to in the spring and end of school year and summer and all have kind of been, canceled or taken away from us. So even the little things like accomplishing your homework early or, something to celebrate as much as possible to kind of make up for the giant celebrations that we're kind of not being a part of, for the kids, the little goals, let's make a big deal about the little goals, and that can help them during this time too.
Very good. Can anybody give me any examples of how you could out polite or show that extra courtesy to your family members? Can anybody give me some examples of things you can think of that would be over the top?
I could clear the table and wipe it down. Because after
This is what he's doing. Please, thank you. Please, thank you.
Well, that's definitely an act of courtesy.
Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Now, so Mark and Tony, so if you are cleaning the table and you're doing that as an act to help the team, the other members of the team could do a lot of the thank you so much. You've done such a great job. This table's never sparkled so wonderfully before. So you can just play that all up.
Awesome. Well, Sydney and Skylar, what do you think?
We could do things without being asked.
Sure.
Good. And so what if your sister did something without being asked? How could you show that courtesy?
By saying please, no, not please, thank you. Actually, we did that earlier today because my cup of water, I was taking a sip and then I spilled it all over myself. And when I went to change my shirt, she cleaned it all up.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, they must please in your leadership team there, Master Olson.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're doing a great job. I'm proud of them.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else? And then, okay, I see.
Let's see who we got there. Okay, we have some young Chapman ladies. I recognize your face.
If you're asked to do something, you can always say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, or not no, ma'am. Sorry, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir.
Okay. So using the yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Definitely. Please, thank you. All your 7 words of respect, right?
I think the last thing was we started off talking about being positive and how we can help encourage each other to be positive. We talked about how we can also do acts of service that can help the team. We talked about having that teamwork huddle where you can really come together and try to be a better team as a family and help each other out. The last thing I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about is adaptation. We've all learned to adapt quickly, and we've learned to make these changes, and that's really what adaptation is being able to change and go with the flow in a positive way that's constructive. Because if you adapt the wrong way, then you're not going to be successful. And so what are some things now in your lives that you've had to do that are different than you would have done ever 2 or 3 weeks ago? What are some new things that you as a family are doing differently? Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
go.
So, okay. So, well, we have a schedule now,
Good.
Perfect.
including my mother has a scheduled time to take a nap.
Good for her. Go, Mom. And you're very respectful during that time, right?
Yes.
They are. They're
Okay, good.
Yesterday, I was tiptoeing to the back porch instead of stomping and not stomping, but running, yeah. And also trying not to spill my bowl of food all over the floor.
Well, that's very gracious of you. Good job.
Good. Okay, Miss Jude. So,
Who is it?
Jude.
I am FaceTiming with my friend.
Oh, wow. Have you ever done that before? No, first time. Okay.
Oh.
How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like you're connected again, like you can talk as friends?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they are FaceTiming every day the last week, and I had so much fun just playing together on FaceTime. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good.
That's wonderful.
Anybody else doing something that's different that they really had to learn to change or adapt to? Miss Hardy, yes.
I'm used to going to school for like 6 or 7 hours a day. So having to be around my brother 24 hours a day is oof.
It's been a learning experience for you?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Are you getting better at it?
Maybe.
Well, that's something you can work on, isn't it?
Well, I am. I don't know if he is. But
Well, you got to do your part. That's all you got to be concerned about.
And Mark and Tony, how about you?
Dad's has been recording lectures up in Mom and Dad's room. It's now easier, but first couple weeks, he was blocking up one of the bathrooms.
Oh, okay. Nice. Very good.
Everybody's adjusting.
And who we have here?
How about parents? Any of the parents had to do anything new
Yeah.
this week?
You can talk.
Yeah.
Doing classes on Zoom and writing a lot of letters.
Oh, writing, like handwriting letters?
They've been mailing handwritten letters to Sunday school teachers and relatives, and
Oh,
and I realized they have never addressed an envelope, so that was a new thing that we've been doing.
Nice. I love
that's
it.
awesome.
Very
How
good.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
Any other parents or leaders that want to share? Oh, we have Sydney and Skylar. Go ahead.
With us also moving, so I feel for Andrew and his family also. Having to say goodbye to coworkers this week Then I won't see the rest of the week till I'm done on Friday.
I
It was like the saddest goodbyes ever because we're all standing across the room from each other. You can't hug everybody goodbye like you normally would. It was like the saddest, worst goodbyes ever.
And I had to say goodbye to all my friends online because I can't actually go and meet them. Because when we move, we're not going to get to go back to school before we move. I think they're coming and packing next week, actually.
And I don't even get to say goodbye to my friends.
Oh, well.
You don't get to get along here.
Yeah,
That's difficult. I do like the Cotard family. I like their idea of writing letters because that could be something they could save forever and ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not able to say goodbye or even FaceTime them, just handwriting them a letter and saying goodbye that way, or that you miss them, because that would make them feel pretty good, right? Just like you would, if she wrote you a letter and you got a letter in the mail that said your friends missed you, that would make you feel pretty good, right? So good, that would be a great idea. Good. Anybody else, anything to share?
Rudy? Hang on just a second. Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I had to make my own hand sanitizer because there's nothing to find in the stores. So I wanted hand sanitizer in the car when I'm out grocery shopping. So something I've never done before.
Oh, well. Made your own. That's awesome. Good skill.
That is a good skill.
Good. Okay. So
I had one. I have had to get used to working from home, and I had a rule before about not taking work home with me, and that's not possible when you're working from home. So trying to find that schedule and those boundaries of work time versus home time, and I think the Hardys had touched on schedule a little bit, but I think that's been the biggest challenge.
Yeah, it is because your schedule has just been flipped upside down, and having to find the balance and figure that out again. So taking the time to do that is definitely worth it.
yeah, so I think we've covered some really fun things and topics, and I'll really appreciate you all sharing, hearing wherever their people are. Like Master Mom was saying, we're all in this together. And we're normally used to seeing each other a couple times a week in the karate schools and being able to hang out. And we consider our karate studios our family members. And so not being able to see you all and stuff on a regular basis can be somewhat challenging. But the best part is we've now adapted. We've all learned we have these Zoom meetings and we can connect and we can do training at home with our virtual trainings and everything else. And so these are things as a school we've been able to adapt quickly and get to guys training and stuff. So staying focused and staying positive and trying to keep your routine as tight as you can is important, but also allowing for that change. Okay, it's okay you might have I know some families are saying that their kids are staying up till 9 or 10 o'clock because now they can sleep in and get their schoolwork done. And not that I recommend that, but that's things that they're allowing those changes because they know things are just different right now. So we said we were going to challenge you all to get off the call and to talk to your families about how you could be a better team member, how you could do things that would help the team around the house, help your moms. So you all committed that. So when we do get off the call, I do want you to talk amongst each other of how you can be a better team member. And coaches and parents, we call you coaches, you're going to help direct that and say, these are the things that we need to get done as a team, and these are the challenges that we face, and here's how we can all come together and make it happen. So I know this is going to be something that we're going to get through, and it's just being strong, being positive is the message. So I hope to do more of these, and I just want to thank Master Mom and thank Master Olson here for allowing her to show her expertise in child psychology and talk. But always reach out to us if you guys have questions or things that we can help you with, because we have a lot of tools, and if we don't know the answer to how to help you, we can talk amongst each other and we can get that answer for you.
Yeah, and I'd like to add too, Master Macy, that we miss you guys too. And when you guys reach out to us, even if it's just a text or email or something, it means a whole lot to us as your instructors, because like you said, y'all are part of our family. So, just a human personal moment, of the day that I knew I couldn't hold classes in my school anymore. I was working so hard, and then when it finally got time to lock up for the night, I thought, wow, I'm not going to see my students for weeks. And I had a master mom boohoo moment, because I just wasn't going to get to see you guys. And the Zoom has just made it so much more, has made it so much better. But when you guys reach out to us, it means a whole lot.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us in our QA. And if there's any last minute things before we sign off, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, I don't see any. We're going to go ahead and sign off and keep positive things going with your family. Show that over-the-top courtesy and making sure that you guys are complimenting each other for everything that you're doing. So keep it up, everybody, and we will see you all around soon.
Stay positive.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye.